I'm Felicia, and I wanted to make this video for those of you who are maybe newer to the real estate career, as I am. I know starting out it can be a little bit overwhelming to be always looking at videos of people who have been in the industry for years. They have great advice and it's awesome to hear from them, but sometimes it can be overwhelming because they are dealing with a different animal than we are starting out. You know, there's different challenges that we face. There's a huge learning curve, and we're kind of just trying to get our feet wet and get some ground somewhere. So I wanted to make a little video to hopefully help anybody else who's maybe in their first year or so, or maybe you haven't even started yet and you're just thinking about a career in real estate and want to see some things that we maybe do for the job, and there's different things you're curious about. I wanted to make some videos and hopefully, you know, it might help somebody else who's starting out, and we can kind of share ideas and take it from there. So let's get to it. I will say it was tough starting out to figure out everything that I needed for an open house. My brokerage was awesome. They helped me a lot with, we have something called an open house kit that basically, you know, is similar to, I'm sure, what your brokerage has, which is different stuff to help get you ready as far as the paperwork and brochures and things like that, and actually, you know, following up with leads. But actually physically knowing what it was going to look like was something actually that surprised me, because I've been to different open houses, you know, just as a consumer for fun. I've gone many times, but it is different when you're in those shoes and you have to actually think about everything from, you know, making sure that everything is opened and bright. I used to go with my mom all the time. Actually, when I was younger, we would have fun. But it is very different when you're in the position of having to set it up. There's a lot of things that you probably wouldn't think of until you're there. So, for example, obviously you want to open up all the doors, you know, make sure that they're unlocked, but it's also opening all the blinds, all the curtains, making sure the light comes in, making sure that there's toilet paper stocked in the bathroom in case somebody needs to use the bathroom while they're there. It could be having hand sanitizer ready, you know, especially now with everything going on. I know that's important to a lot of people and something to keep in mind as well. There's just so much that kind of can go into it, just little things that will make it more comfortable for the people coming through that you probably won't even think of until you do it a couple times. So that's what this list is, hopefully what will help you with, is getting you a head start on some of the things that I learned. If I compare my first open house that I did for another agent in my office versus the ones I'm doing today, only a few months later for my own listing, it is, you know, night and day. The other thing I do want to note is that open houses for a while, it's not that they weren't happening, but there were definitely not as many as there normally were. And part of that had to do with COVID, but it also had to do with the crazy seller's market that we all know has been happening. And things are starting to shift a little bit. So that's why also I think this is a good time to be learning about open houses if you haven't done one yet, because the market's starting to get to a place where those are becoming common again, because listings aren't selling quite as quickly. If you look online and see, you know, open houses in your area, if you looked in like the middle of the summer versus today, there's probably double if not triple as many open houses happening, and it just has to do with the change in the market. So definitely important to know how to do an open house. You may not have to do one for every listing that you get, but it's something that is pretty common and will definitely be something that you'll have to do at some point in time. So it's important to, you know, learn it while you can. Ignore my messy basement. I actually recently moved into a house not that long ago myself, so you might see some stuff lying around in my basement, but I'm going to show you some items that I bring to an open house and how I decide to keep them organized as best as I can. As most of you new to the industry know, it can cost a lot of money starting out your business. So I try not to waste a lot of money on sort of fancy things when it comes to organization. So I literally just have this big plastic tub. You can get them anywhere. I chose Walmart just because I thought they would be one of the more affordable options. This is a funny one that you'd think is pretty obvious, but it's not. You probably would forget it. Bringing paper towels. I don't have it in here, but also a roll of toilet paper. I mentioned before that you never know if someone's going to need to use a restroom, so you want to make sure that you're prepared for that. Obviously, you can see I bring snacks. I have these chips over here, chocolates. What I actually do, I'll show you a little snapshot of a open house that I did, and you can see kind of how I actually displayed it. These are my business cards. So obviously I bring the whole box. It's just the easiest, and that way I know I will never run out. These bowls here that you see, it's funny. These are actually from a display. I got a B. Smith display for my wedding, and I actually used them just separately, and I actually put the chocolates and the granola bars in there so that they're kind of cute, and I can show you that, like I said. You're probably thinking it's strange that I have a lighter right here, but it is for the candle. So there's kind of mixed reviews on whether you should be adjusting the smell in your home. I found the candle to be just a nice, more of an ambiance that I was trying to set when I had mine. I think if you're going over the top with Lysol and really strong smells, then that would be a deterrent for buyers wondering what, you know, you're trying to cover up. But a candle lit, to me, it was a very soft smell that I have. And then it's also just, like I said, something nice, more visually. So that's why I had it. Scissors. This is one that people told me when I first started, always have scissors on you, because especially if you have a sign or balloons or anything else, they are going to come in handy. This is something newer that I've done at my most recent open house. I've done multiple, but the most recent one I did was actually I wanted to get a lot more people coming, so I actually put together a little raffle. So I can show you a picture of that setup as well. But so I basically just had it displayed out on the table. I told anybody who came by that they would get entered into the raffle. It was recently, so I actually haven't pulled names for it yet, but I will be giving that away. Something I try to consider when I'm doing an open house is that I'm not only talking to people who are potentially going to put in an offer on this house. It could be neighbors who just came to kind of scope it out. It could be somebody in the area who does it for fun, which is something I've done before. You know, they want to just come see it. Really, it can just be anybody. And so I always want to put on a decent open house, not only to sell the property, but also for the potential of getting more clients. If they see that you have a raffle, you have snacks, you have music, you have all this different stuff, it might, you know, pique their interest and make them think, wow, this agent really goes all out and goes above and beyond for her clients. So maybe they would think about working with you when you do that. The only thing that I don't have handy in this bin that I do take to an open house is a Bluetooth speaker. Having music in the background makes such a difference to how comfortable people feel when they come in. It can be kind of awkward and quiet otherwise, you know, you can hear everybody's conversations. I think having music just makes everybody relax and feel more comfortable, and also it makes the time pass a little bit faster for you if you at least have some music to listen to while you're standing there. As you can see, it doesn't take a lot of money to put together a nice little display for your open house. I'm sure as I grow, I would maybe have something a little bit fancier than a plastic bin to carry all my materials in, but honestly, it works for me. I went my first few open house and didn't have any bin at all. I was using like just different shopping bags, and that was kind of disorganized. So I think the most important thing to do is just to get everything consolidated into one container if you can, and that way it's easy. I also purposely try to get basically extras of everything so that I don't have to constantly be going to this bin to use it. So that roll of paper towels, the waters, everything, they're pretty much in there, good to go for the next one that I have, especially if I'm doing, you know, multiple. I'm one a Saturday, one Sunday, doing one another weekend. You don't want to have to constantly be emptying it and filling it back up. So that's made a huge difference for me and saved me a lot of time. The other really important piece for prepping for an open house is marketing and actually getting people there. So I definitely recommend talking to your manager, other agents that you've worked with, to see recommendations that they have for what seems to work in your market. I've tried different things, whether it's door knocking, like I mentioned before, and inviting the neighbors. You know, social media, of course, is a huge thing that you can use. You can market it on different websites, and that's something that can really make a difference as well. I recommend getting there at least a half hour early. I get there closer to probably an hour or more early. I am still newer, like I mentioned, so for me, I still have a little bit of nerves, and I also just want to make sure that everything looks perfect when people come in. So I get there early. That way I don't have to scramble. I don't have to worry about somebody coming a little bit early and I'm still trying to set up, because that can be really awkward if that does happen. So it's always better to be early. Think of it as with any other career that you've had, any other job experience, you want to sort of be presentable and ready to go when people come through the front door. So try to get everything done, and that way in the last 10 minutes or so before it starts, you're set and you're stationed in the kitchen, living room, wherever it is that you sort of set up when people first walk in, and that way you don't have to worry about giving, you know, a bad impression or, like I said, setting up as people are coming in. Thanks guys so much for watching. I hope that you found something valuable in this. If you haven't seen an open house before in person, I hope that you feel a little bit more prepared for next time. As I said, I am brand new to this industry, so I definitely still have a lot to learn. So if you have ideas, tips, tricks, hacks, anything that you do to make open houses run a little bit smoother and to have a good turnout, I am definitely interested. So share those in the comment section, and I look forward to reading them. Thanks, guys.